We're starting today with a fantastic UFO sighting from Florida, March 11th, 2026. We can see this strange object in the sky with a weird orangish glow underneath it. Witnesses said that it looked almost flat at the top, almost like a disc, but then at times it looked like a very dark orb. And again, we're getting that it almost looked like it was absorbing light, like it was Vanta black, with the exception of the light that was attached to it underneath. Truly fascinating. And it's Throwback Thursday, so we've got even more fantastic UFO sightings for you, including a UFO dropping off a human being, new sightings from 2026, a UFO possibly crashing at Area 51, a UFO almost hitting a plane, and a UFO shutting down airports, and so many more. Sit back on the couch, relax, and get ready for all these UFOs. Mexico City, January 17th, 2026. The strangest object was caught in the sky, with lights like I've never seen before. People witnessing it are unsure whether this was a craft or some sort of portal or wormhole, just because of its look and general nature. Let me know in the comments what you think this is.
Bueno, a ver si saben qué es eso ahí. No es un plato volador, no es un avión, ¿qué es? A ver, lo arrimamos.
Of all the UFO sightings and strange clips we've featured on this channel, I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. But y'all, it's not just interesting UFO sightings that I have for you today. It's also weird UFO news that honestly is a little bit scary. So stay tuned and let's jump over to Las Vegas, Nevada, January 16th, 2026. Witnesses captured again what started at first looking like the Phoenix lights, like these orbs in a line, but then they started moving erratically and changing color, and well, it was just a really weird all-around sighting. Smash like, take a look. Much like the first clip, I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. The way they were dancing around, the colors they were giving off, that is an absolutely stunning UFO sighting. And it doesn't end there, with another clip from Skywatchers Ireland, January 15th, 2026. One of the brightest objects caught yet again by their cameras. This is getting really interesting. Take a look. As I mentioned, it's not just UFO sightings. There's also strange UFO news with UFOs and aliens making headlines. To summarize the articles, the Bank of England is urged to prepare for potential financial crisis triggered by the confirmation of alien life. Former Financial Secretary expert Helen McCall warns that disclosure of non-human intelligence could cause panic or euphoria in financial markets, leading to bank collapses and asset repricing. McCall references the ongoing declassification process in the United States related to unidentified anomalous phenomenon, also known as UAP, formerly known as UFOs. This is major news. These are the heads of banks and financial advisors talking about disclosure possibly coming this year and what that could mean for our finances and for the world at large. We wouldn't be having these conversations if something wasn't already happening. Honestly, if we had this type of conversation just a few years ago, the person writing the article would have been ridiculed. However, I've seen this on Times, I've seen this on the Financial Insider, Business Insider, I saw it on Dexertu, like everyone's talking about this, and it's fascinating and scary. Why would our finances collapse? Like, what is happening? On top of that, there's even more UFO sightings happening this year than ever before. Like, take a look over at India, January 15th, 2026, where this strange object was seen seemingly rotating in the sky. But when you take a closer look, you'll see that it's not just rotating, it's deliberately moving around in different directions. And it makes no sense. Let me know in the comments what you think about this. Honestly, it's so strange to me. When I first saw it, I was like, well, it could be a balloon spinning or something caught in the wind. But when I saw how deliberate its movements were and how it was changing the direction of those movements, I'm like, that is I controlled or intelligence. Something is going on with that. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that either. And there's more. Kmart, Texas, January 16th, 2026. Witnesses saw an object in the sky they thought may have been a glowing orb. However, upon pulling out their camera and zooming in, they see that it's actually two objects close together and can't tell whether it's two UFOs or one UFO emitting two lights. Take a look and let me know which one you think it is. I think it's really weird. Personally, I feel like I saw like an energy field around it as it was moving around. Some strange stuff happening in our skies. And these orbs are all over the place. Honestly, this started peaking. Honestly, this started peaking a couple years ago with the New Jersey UFO incident, but I feel like 2016, we're only what, the 18th of January? We've had how many sightings already? This is wild. Maybe they are right to be worried about the banks. Maybe disclosure is coming. Norway, January 22nd, 2026. Witnesses saw these strange blue lights in the sky that honestly made no sense. Then, as they started recording these lights, they saw another set of lights dancing and twinkling around next to them. The whole sighting is absolutely wild, and I'm glad they caught it on camera. Take a look. I look at that and I'm like, are the twinkling lights separate from the blue lights? What are the blue lights doing? What's happening in our skies? And it doesn't end there. There's more from Norway, this time on Christmas Day 2025 from Hesteland. Now, this sighting is really weird. You see it in the mountain range, and people have talked about these strange orbs in mountains and hillsides, but getting it on video, it is very peculiar. And honestly, the orb, especially when it moves around the tree, It reminds me of Navi from Ocarina of Time. I'm like, is this a fairy or an alien? What's happening here? Let me know in the comments what you think. Take a look.
El 80. Este 25 de diciembre del año 2025, una cámara científica del proyecto Hesdalen captó un nuevo evento anómalo a plena luz del día. Las imágenes nos muestran una luz no identificada que aparece repentinamente en el valle y se desplaza de forma lenta y estable por la ladera de una montaña. El fenómeno no emite sonido, no presenta luces de navegación y no muestra un comportamiento compatible con drones, aviones o vehículos terrestres. El registro fue captado por la AMS cámara, un sistema automático diseñado específicamente para detectar y analizar fenómenos luminosos anómalos. A lo largo de más de 40 años de investigación, científicos han propuesto diversas hipótesis, desde plasmas atmosféricos hasta procesos geoeléctricos, pero hasta hoy ninguna explicación ha sido confirmada de manera definitiva. Este nuevo registro se suma a una larga lista de eventos que continúan desafiando a la ciencia moderna. Hesdalen sigue siendo uno de los lugares más enigmáticos del planeta. Seguimos observando.
Absolutely fascinating. And more every day. Tourists, hikers, mountain climbers, people out in the wild, they're capturing these strange orbs. And honestly, it makes no sense. Are these things extraterrestrial, or do they originate in the deep dark where we rarely search? Right here on Earth. We jump over to Iowa, United States. This occurred January 20th, 2026. Another strange orb in the sky. And when I first saw this clip, upon watching it, I'm like, oh, maybe it's like a satellite or something. But as the witness starts talking about it and asking it to get brighter and bigger, it does? It doesn't make any sense. Smash like and check this out.
You gonna get bigger for us? Oh yes, beautiful. Wow, oh my goodness. Oh my gosh, incredible. Incredible. I can't believe I just caught that on camera.
Honestly, it was absolutely stunning. So brilliant, the light. And that blue hue in the color is gorgeous, in my opinion. If you look closely, it does look like it's diamond shaped, something we've seen before. However, because of how far this object is and where the person is, it could be the sensor of the camera. Still, a very interesting sighting. Now, over in Canada, on the same day, January 20th, 2026, a strange thing was caught in the sky. Some are calling it another squid UFO. Some are likening it to a UFO we've seen before that some say is a kite. However, the witness of this UFO says they're more than sure it's not a kite. It's way too cold for anyone to be outside doing that in Canada right now. And from the angle they were at, from their perspective, it was impossible. So you guys tell me, what is this?
Okay, I'm gonna hang up for a second and call you back. I'm gonna try and take a video of it if I can. Okay. I'm gonna call you back.
Honestly, that looks really weird and almost sentient. Like the way the tentacle things move. Oh, UFOs are one thing. Gray aliens coming a little too close, I don't know. But if I saw that, I would be so scared. Next, we jump over to Naucalpan de Juarez in Mexico. Another strange sighting, January 2nd, 2026. This orb was seen flying across the sky. The witness double-checked all their apps, sky guides, satellite apps. There were no satellites and no airplanes in the sky or helicopters or anything that was supposed to be up there, which is the only reason I'm okay with what they do. They take a laser and point at it and try to get it to react. Now, I normally tell everyone, do not do that, because we don't know if it's someone that's actually flying and we just can't tell and we could distract the pilot. However, this witness did make sure beforehand that there shouldn't be anything in the sky before they tried this maneuver. Take a look and let me know what you think. This next one, also in Mexico though, is very, very weird. I'm honestly torn between whether it's a UFO in the traditional unexplained, possibly extraterrestrial object, or something man-made, something we did, because it looks very mechanical. This occurred January 20th, 2026, and it left the witnesses and me scratching their heads because we don't know what this is. Smash like, take a look.
Mira, y sí está completamente parado. Ya no se mueve para nada. Y está grande el güey. Valiendo, madre. Mira, y tiene destellos. Tiene destellos de luz. Sí. Ay, se me perdió. No, está el güey. Está completamente estático. Mira, le salió algo de abajo. Le salió algo de abajo. Como burro en primavera. Como burro en primavera. Mira, y ahí se ve el pinche avión cuando pasa. Y el otro está completamente estático. No se mueve. Y le pasó cerca el avión. A ver si pasa otro. Hey. Que es hora de salidas de aviones. Ahorita salió uno. A ver si sale el otro. Para ver la comparación en el tamaño. Del que está parado y del que va volando. Bueno, pues si es, ya nos tocaba.
Do you see what I mean? That it looks more mechanical in nature, less smooth and seamless as we expect the non-human craft to be. That looks like it had seams and jarring edges, and like someone here made it. But it still doesn't look like traditional technology, so it's still really weird. For more crazy orbs, we jump back to Brazil, January 2026, where witnesses captured this while they were chilling outside and were very confused as to what it could be. Like the witnesses in Mexico, they checked a few apps and said that it shouldn't have been anything in the sky, so they grabbed their camera and started recording. What do you think?
Luz estranha aqui no Maranhão, pessoal. Olha aqui, ó, apareceu na minha região. Consegui filmar, pessoal, aqui já 6 horas da tarde. Olha do jeito, olha. Estão dizendo que é extraterrestre, pessoal. Estão dizendo que é alienígena. Olha aí, ó. Será o que é isso, pessoal? Parece um sol, uma lua, e ninguém sabe o que é isso não, viu? Só sei que dá medo, viu? Tem umas pessoas que ficou com medo aqui na minha região, do jeito aí, ó. E elas vêm se aproximando, pessoal. Vem se aproximando devagarzinho, do jeito aí, ó. Ninguém sabe o que é isso não, pessoal. Parece assim uma bola de fogo, não sei não, viu? Só sei que é estranho, viu? E ela vem subindo, pessoal. Vem subindo aos poucos, do jeito aí, ó. Eita, menina, é final dos tempos, viu? As coisas não tá de brincadeira mais não, menina. Vai aparecendo cada coisa no céu, do jeito aí, ó. Ela vem subindo, pessoal. Ela vem subindo, ó.
As they get bright, that's where it really throws me off. Like sometimes when I see the little lights, just like that other clip earlier, it's like, oh, well, that could be something traditional or pragmatic. And then it's like glows or expands, and I'm like, I don't know what the hell that is. Next, we have a bombshell retro clip that was recently discovered and is now being investigated by MUFON. This clip is from 1990, filmed on a old camcorder, as you can kind of tell, but it captures this strange flying saucer in the sky, actually spinning. You see the lights and everything, and at some point, the flying saucer drops something off. To this day, no one knows what it is. The original witnesses were too scared to go and approach afterwards. So now MUFON is going to try and get as much evidence as they can, as much data, and see what the hell was happening on that night. But guys, I want to share this with you because it blew my mind. Smash like and take a look.
It's just sitting up there. What the hell? No way. No way. Something's dropping something. Jesus.
Was that a person? Was that like some cargo? Was that slag? Like at first I thought maybe legs at the bottom, but it could have just been a weird shaped object coming out. What the hell was that? And if these things are taking and dropping people off, I think we should demand more information. We need disclosure now. UFO sightings are ramping up again. There's even an alleged case of interdimensional beings being caught on camera. So I'm excited to bring you guys some of the most recent and strangest anomalies in the sky. And today we're starting with one from a commercial aircraft. There was a alleged cigar-shaped UFO that narrowly missed American airline flight 2292 over New Mexico. You can clearly see that it is a cigar shape, and it does seem to zip right by the plane. Check it out and let me know your thoughts. Now that is an absolutely wild capture to me. Some people claim that it could be the air pressure hole on the window. However, if you go back and check the video out, you'll see that the windowsill is visible. And in my opinion, they don't pan their camera in a way that would make the air hole go by so quickly and at that angle. Like, take a look at the video. They don't pan quickly enough for how that cylinder-shaped UFO passes by, in my opinion. And if I'm not mistaken, that flight was for February 15th of 2025. Now, the New Jersey UFO drone UAP situation seems to be back, with Scott C. Waring sharing this UFO clip from February 13th, 2025 over Brunswick, New Jersey. Check it out.
Storm, come here.
Now, although it's just some dots in the sky, I do trust Scott C. Waring to bring out his flight radar and like a sky guide to make sure they're not stars or plane. And I do trust his word as he's been doing this for so long. This next one from Sandy_0685 happened in Florida on February 15th of 2025. What you're going to see is a strange disc-shaped object, almost with like a conish top, or a almost dome with a little bulb. It's very strange. It's flying around in the sky. No one knows what it is. Smash like and check it out.
So freaky. Is your phone picking it up?
Fuck yeah, it is.
Is it one of yours? I can't see. That is weird AF. Huh. Where'd it go? It's there. It's on the other side. I found it.
Now, one thing I find interesting about that clip is that it does seem to wobble a little bit. However, the person recording was zooming in and out, so I can't tell if it was an effect of their zoom, maybe it was a digital zoom, or if the craft was actually wobbling. But it was peculiar, and it definitely was disc-shaped. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. But it gets even stranger and even a bit romantic. See, this next sighting actually occurred on Valentine's Day, and it showcases multiple red, blue, and green UAP over the San Francisco Bay Area. What's really strange is that you see the orbs and they tend to flash red, but the little blue orbs seem to either be coming out or going into them. I don't really know what's going on in the video. Check it out and let me know your thoughts. Now that could have been some type of like, maybe a drone show for Valentine's Day, but I don't understand what the coordination or the choreography was. Like there wasn't a shape. That was not a heart shape in the sky. I don't know. I don't know what was happening in that video. And if it was a drone show, I'm sorry, y'all. But for Valentine's Day, that sucks. Next, we have a very strange clip. Instead of a traditional UFO, as we're used to, a craft in the sky, this person claims that they captured interdimensional beings on their security camera. Now, I want you to check out this footage. Whatever is being captured does look very strange. And some people have come up with some practical explanations for it. But I'm not so sure it fits. I'll let you check it out first, then we'll chat about that. Isn't that weird? And some people are saying that it could be the low light and the camera lag having like a weird effect on a person walking by. And don't get me wrong, I can definitely see that. But I was looking through this video and I was doing like a frame by frame. And at one point, when it captured like one of the still, it looked like the foot part was like a claw of some sort. And then just the way that what would, I guess, be considered the head or the face is so prominent and light. I mean, it could be, but the leg thing freaks me out. I don't know. I want to hear your opinions on that in the comments below. Our next UFO clip is a little bit longer, and it comes from user CNAIK1987, who was doing their normal skywatch February 15th. I believe it was around 8 p.m., 8:49 p.m. And they noticed a strange flashing light in the sky. And they were fixated on it because they thought it was weird. They brought up apps. It wasn't a plane or a satellite, so he couldn't figure out what it was. What he didn't notice until after, when he went home and started going over the footage, was that as he's trying to focus on this flashing light, there are other, what would seem at first to be stars in the sky. Then they start moving together. You see like two of them moving as a pair, then seemingly three, and it gets really weird. It cuts off a little bit from that anomaly because he didn't see that, and he was so focused on the flash. But it does showcase them again. And another thing that happens, it's very strange, is these particles, almost like snowflakes or flurries, start floating around in front of the camera. However, as you'll see, because you can see the stars, the UFO, and the flashing light, it is a clear sky. And it was 60 degrees in Austin, Texas. And as far as the submitter was concerned, it wasn't snowing at 8:49 p.m. So he also doesn't know what those strange particles were. This is a very weird video, and there's a lot going on, but I really need you to focus on those lights that look like stars and start moving around in the sky. Take a look. And I love that clip again because the person recording was not even aware of the anomalous activity with those 3 lights in the beginning. They noticed the delta formation at the end, and they noticed the flashing on the beginning. So they focus on the flashing, again, not even attempting to capture it, and they still captured that extra anomaly on top of everything that was going on. Those were not satellites. Satellites cannot chase each other like that in the sky. Those were too high up to be planes. They looked like stars, and they were not moving like traditional craft because they were making strange swerves. Maybe the third light that was going straight up as they were moving around was a satellite or something else, but it looked like it was stationary when he started recording. And what else I loved about the video, or the other thing I loved about the video, is that you could tell it wasn't his camera moving that caused this, because you could still see the stars and the flashing lights relative to the position of the actual moving objects. So you could tell that they actually were moving across the sky. That is, in my opinion, one of the greatest captures we've had in a long time. And I am so grateful for that video. It's so freaking cool. UFOs have forced authorities in Denmark and Norway to shut down the airspace over Copenhagen and Oslo, shutting down the airports. These things came out of nowhere. Many are calling them mysterious drones and likening them to the strange New Jersey UFO incident that happened right around this time last year. Why is it always around this time? Why is it always at airports? And guys, I've got some crazy footage from tonight of these strange UFOs that shut down the airport. I've grabbed some of the best clips online so that you can see what the hell is going on. Check them out.
Kommer nærme. Rett over det.
Well, you're going to think I'm crazy. There's something that just went from right to left to right in a blink and then flashes lights 3-4 times and vanished.
Okay, well, I had an airplane cross from right to left, E-175, and now there's another one, 777 up there high off the right side that's descending to 28. That might be those 2 aircraft, I'm not sure.
This thing went 180 degrees in like a second.
Oh, goodness. All right. Yeah, let me know if you see it again. We'll make a report.
Well, the details, it literally went from one coast to the other in front of us, and then it went up like 30 degrees, turned off its lights, or whatever it had. It looked like it's a bright orangey thing, and then since we spoke to you last, it flashed us like 3-4 times, and we are still looking at it now.
So where is it roughly if I was to give you a traffic call?
I would say probably 60, 80 miles in front of us, and it looks like...
Very strange, and the weird green lighting and strange pulsating was very much akin to the strange UFO drone incident in New Jersey that people just kind of brushed away with the new year. I'm hoping this doesn't get brushed away. It shut down whole airspaces. That's freaking crazy. And some of the witnesses were talking about seeing them with their eyes, trying to record them, but feeling like they had some kind of the best way, I guess, to put it would be like a camouflage or like a force field. Normal drones don't have that, so why are they still calling them drones? What the hell is in our skies? Even some of the pilots were talking about flying by them in the air. They were freaking out because how are they going to land safely? I'm blown away. I can't believe it's freaking happening again. And for those who say it's only in North America, look, this is the other side of the world. Y'all, I'm going to keep you informed of the developing story. I'll see you next time. Did a UFO just crash land in Area 51? According to 8 News Now Las Vegas, the answer is yes. In an event that could be just as big as the previous Las Vegas UFO incident, with Angel Kenmore and his family seeing a ship crash land and creatures come out in his backyard, This time we have it happening in Area 51, and there were witnesses and, of course, video evidence. People go to find out what's going on and do a little research, and they're not allowed in. I mean, for obvious reasons, you're never really allowed into Area 51. But this is even stranger because they want to give no answers. And according to 8 News Now and George Knapp, the FBI is investigating. So to me, it looks like there's another cover-up underway. But I want you to check out their report and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Take a look.
The 8 News Now investigators telling you for several weeks now about a mysterious object of unknown origin that fell from the sky and crashed just near Area 51. And tonight, the public is still in the dark.
So that crash was quickly covered up, both literally and figuratively. 8 News Now Chief Investigator George Knapp thinks the official story, as told by the military, is false.
And we are lucky because George joins us here in the studio with more on what he's now dug up. George?
Well, how quickly might the government respond to a crash of an unknown object? What happened back on September 23rd on public land outside the boundary of Area 51 is a textbook example of how crash retrievals work. And to no one's surprise, pretty much everything told to the public since then is pure fiction.
You can see this in F-18.
Scanners and computers inside this room listen to and record radio traffic inside Area 51 round the clock. On the morning of September 23rd, York Arnu heard some astonishing news.
Had my cup of coffee and I'm listening to Area 51 security, and all of a sudden they get very serious. Locked down the base.
Arnu learned there'd been a large but totally secret air operation in the middle of the night and that something had gone wrong.
So we just had an asset go down. We had an asset go down. This is not Creech security, this is Area 51 security. And they had an asset go down. And then the next thing.
Yeah, clear. Also, supposed to be advised is a UAV, unmanned aircraft with ordnance.
He picked up details about strict security measures which were implemented almost immediately. Not only was Area 51 itself locked down, but within a very short time, so too was a large swath of the Tikaboo Valley. It became clear that some kind of craft had crashed miles outside of Area 51's boundaries on public land adjacent to Highway 375, also known as the ET Highway. Arnu jumped in his truck and headed south from his home in Rachel. But while driving on what's known as Mailbox Road, he ran into an armed patrol.
They had the gun in front of them, not pointed at me, but very visibly in front of them. And it was clear they meant business.
He backtracked and headed south on the ET Highway to Groom Lake Road, the main entrance to the base. It too was blocked off by sheriff's deputies and military security. A military helicopter with an attached basket was sitting there, presumably ready to haul out wreckage of something. A pair of porta potties suggested the team planned to be there for a while.
Almost the entire Tikaboo Valley was shut down.
At the Little Ailey Inn in Rachel, employees were in the dark about a crash, but saw the beefed-up security at closed-off roads and knew something big was unfolding. Crashes are not an everyday occurrence out here, but locals have seen plenty of them over the decades.
If this thing would have crashed anywhere in restricted airspace, in restricted area, we would have never known about it.
After being turned away from the presumed crash site, Arnu and the aerospace sleuths on his website, dreamlandresort.com, began gathering and sharing bits and pieces of information. The FAA had ordered the closure of airspace over a particular spot in the valley. That was a big clue. Then 4 days after the crash, the security teams vanished. Arnu went back out for a look. The Air Force had used heavy equipment to plow a dirt road across a section of desert. Arnu followed it and found what he thought was the crash site, then shared it online. That's when things got strange, even by Area 51 standards. A second wave of cleanup crews descended on the site, presumably to pick up any remaining debris, but they also used graders to cover the entire area with a thick layer of dirt, literally a cover-up. Creech Air Force Base, which is home to a fleet of Reaper drones and other UAVs, issued a statement explaining that the, quote, unmanned aircraft was one of theirs. The same statement claimed someone had been tampering with the crash site and had scattered assorted pieces from other aircraft, along with an inert training bomb. The Air Force said the FBI was investigating this alleged tampering at the site. Arnu was amused but not convinced.
The only thing they could get that person for is littering on public land.
That's the story, is it came from Creech and now the FBI is investigating. You think that's bogus?
That's absolutely bogus. I think that was designed to make people not go there.
Arnu drove back out and realized the site he first videotaped was a staging area, not the crash site. 200 yards away, the telltale burn marks on Joshua trees indicated this was where the object slammed into the earth. Both he and another aerospace explorer found pieces of who knows what, debris that came from something other than a drone, seemingly planted to confuse anyone who came looking. But they also found pieces under the dirt that are likely the real thing.
I'm pretty sure that this piece came off the actual aircraft.
Arnu, who was at the site of a genuine Reaper crash years earlier, says there's no way the Air Force could ever recover every piece of a crashed aircraft, so they added some dirt and sprinkled in some misdirection instead.
If I were them, I would probably do just that.
Is there a good guess about what crashed? On the Dreamland Resort website, members, including former military and retired defense contractors, chimed in. The leading theory is that the drone was one of a latest generation of AI-controlled craft that accompany advanced fighter planes and can act independently to get the job done.
The Next Generation Air Dominance project is the big thing at Area 51. So the pilot flies along and says, hey, there's a target on the ground, Drone 1, go check it out, and if it's a bad guy, take care of it. And Drone 1 goes and does the rest.
If the military wants to keep a secret about strange things that fall out of the sky, they have many tools at their disposal. Lock down the base, seal off the public land, put out a cover story, sprinkle some disinformation over the whole thing. Arnu says the middle-of-night operation that ended with the crash is one of the biggest he's ever heard of, nicknamed Black Flag. He has a good idea which hangar at the Area 51 base houses the unknown drones, but is not willing to say more. It is, after all, almost 3 years to the day since FBI agents kicked in the door of his home and carted away his computers and cameras. No charges have ever been filed. Back to you.
And George, what I really like to say is there's so much more behind a press release, right? That press release that came in, the first one that we talked about here, said it was an incident. Didn't even say it was a crash. Didn't even say what it was. So there, really shows you how investigative reporting can go a long way.
Like X-Files right in our own backyard.
And George wants to take Denise and I out there on a bus tour, so we are thinking about
Sign us up.
So there we have it. Another possible UFO crash landing in Nevada. This time not Vegas. Even stranger, this time it's Area 51. And with some of the information that's been coming out and our disclosure committee trying to get information, I think it's very strange that things are still being kept under wrap and so easily covered up. Guys, I want to hear your thoughts in the comments below, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Smash like, and I'll see you in the next one.